So this is actually a question very close to my heart, so I might take some time here. So one of the important things that actually was also mentioned in the panel is the idea of being truth-seeking. In a startup, you should be always unbiased and you should be truthful with yourself, with your team, and with your customers. And one of the things that I think about it a lot is about the future of AI and whether it's going to be mostly a few number of God models that are going to eat everything, or is there any space for smaller models? I love to believe that there's a space for smaller models. However, that might not be true. And it's important to understand that. Because if you don't accept the reality and you try to bend the reality in a way that you like, that's the worst thing you can do. It's not just about the startups. It's the worst thing you can do in your life, probably. But especially for a startup. So here's the way that I see it. And this one, I think that I'm quite confident about it, as opposed to previous questions that I didn't have any good answer for. This one, I think I'm quite confident. Eventually, God models will win. The reason why I say that is that this is a research that has been done over and over in the past. I want to mention just one of them. There was a paper that came out of UC Berkeley several years ago. I don't remember the exact name, but the name was something like Transformers as Universal Learning Compute Engines. Thank you. And this paper, what they showed was that they trained a transformer model on computer vision problems and then retrained less than 1% of the parameters in the model. In fact, it was significantly less than 1%. And they got very good results on natural language processing tasks. What happens here is that these patterns are transferable between problems, even for problems that are very remote from each other. If you think about language is a very human-centric thing, right? But vision is not like that. Vision is very physical. In fact, all of the animals, or at least majority of the animals, have capabilities sometimes better than humans in vision, right? All of these two modalities are so different than each other. There is a high correlation between the patterns between them, right? In fact, that's the reason why multimodal language, multimodal models these days work very well with very limited vision modality that is added on top of the language. So what is the implication of that? And that I mentioned just one of the papers. If you go to this rabbit hole, you'll find a big, massive amount of research that has been done here. And the result is quite conclusive. The patterns transfer to each other. So what it means is that the largest model that has seen most of the patterns eventually works better than any other smaller model. So take that, but that might not happen in a short run. So what happens is that in the long run, I believe that the large models, or so-called God models, will win, or at least they will win on accuracy, which probably is the most important thing, not for all of the applications, but for majority of the applications that we think about when we think about AI. So what is going to happen most probably is that in a matter of 5 to 10 years, there are going to be those God models that are going to win. I'm not saying that they are necessarily closed source God models. There could be very well things like DeepSeek or other models that are open source, but those are the models that are going to win eventually. That being said, there is a market for the next 5 to 10 years, or maybe shorter than that, is an opportunity to build something and get to some market fit and build a massively successful company. And that's not, it shouldn't be disappointing for you. For example, if you think about biology, it's quite clear that eventually, if we get to nanorobot technology, that's going to be the thing that is going to destroy cancer, right? But it doesn't mean that we should stop all the other cancer research right now, because eventually in 20 years we might build nanorobots, right? So what I'm saying is that we should be truthful to ourselves about what is going to happen and what we see about the trajectory. In the short run, probably we can gain a lot and we can build massively successful companies, but we have to think about that, because the company, if the only core value that you're bringing is like these specialized models, most probably that's going to lose its value long term. So you maybe want to build the specialized models in a short run and get traction and build value, and then little by little build other layers on top of it that add other type of value. Similar to, for example, think about Cursor, right? Cursor is a massive company at this point. They don't, until recently, they didn't have their foundational model, right? They are so-called wrapper, in fact, that was supposed to be the loser of this game a year ago or 2 years ago, right? But you have to think about layers, different layers of value that you build on top of each other. And if you stop at the layer of the models, I think that eventually that layer is going to phase out from the value perspective. So it's good to think about it and be truthful about what you're building. It needs to have several layers of modes. Sorry.